Hello and welcome back here to Mighty Mac on YouTube. We kick off tonight with the opening day of the PRO Superstar Shootout down in Bradenton, Florida. We saw quick speeds to open up the night, a potential for a few records to drop, and a controversy with the timing system that caused a little bit of confusion within the testing sessions between the past 2 days. We cover all that as well as the top qualifiers from tonight's event. Let's get right into the video. So we kick off tonight's event with a little bit of controversy. As teams rolled in to start testing on Tuesday and Wednesday, we saw a lot of quick speeds get put down very early, which set off a lot of alarms to a lot of fans watching along at home and at the track that a potential record could be broken, as well as the historic 340-mile-an-hour barrier that is being chased for the last few years. We saw back at Sonoma in 2018 when Robert Hight ran a 339.87 and a laid-back header era, which still stands to this day as the national speed record, but we've gotten closer and closer to reaching that 340-mile-an-hour barrier, and tonight was absolutely no different. We saw in testing on Monday, or Tuesday, I should say, that Brittany ran a 3.68 at 336. That was the first alarm to set off. Then Sean Langdon backed it up the next day, well, I should say yesterday, with a 3714, 338.51. And then Antron sent everybody to the moon with a 3722 at 339.62 miles an hour. However, people who were at the track and paying attention to the times would realize that times like a 3722, a 3714 did not really match up with the speeds that are being set. That is where Bobby Bennett of Competition Plus got involved with it and got down to what was happening. And he would talk to Bob Brockmeyer, the founder of CompuLink's timing system, which is what Bradenton, as well as a lot of racetracks, use for their timing systems. And he would end up divulging into what exactly happened. He would end up confirming that the splits were not legit. He just double-checked everything the morning of today about what was going on, and then confirmed that they had set the beams too high and the sensitivities were too high as well, and everything was up on a tune-up. He explained that the dragsters more than likely walked the beam and then tripped the front tire, not the front wing, which is what they use. And he estimated the runs would have been around 332 miles an hour, not the 338, 339s that we were seeing. And then he ended up fixing that by raising the lasers higher to what they rate, as well as turning the sensitivity down to what trips them. And hopefully that would fix the issues. And that ended up deflating a lot of the hype of what people expected a 340-mile-an-hour run. However, those worries were ended up being immediately put out as we saw some incredible speeds. A bit of the highlights: multiple cars ended up having issues this weekend to kick off the PRO Shootout, especially in pro stock. Some big names ended up not setting some very decent runs as I pull up the times here on my phone from the Drag Illustrated. So taking top honors in pro stock for qualifying was Dallas Glenn at 6.507 with a 210.97 miles an hour. Keep in mind, there are 17 cars going for 16 spots in this class. Jerry Tugger would take second, Bo Butner in third, Aaron Stanfield in fifth, Christian Quadra sixth, Jed Coughlin Jr. Christian Quadra in fifth, Jed Coughlin Jr. in sixth, making a return to pro stock as he looks forward to his first comeback full-time season in NHRA pro stock competition. Matt Harford in seventh, Chris McGahey rounds out the top half of the qualifiers, and then Greg Anderson with a surprising 9th place run as he finds himself a little bit further back than what he expected, or what any of us expected really, in this KB versus Elite Motorsports showdown. Cameron Caruso would take 10th, David Quadro with a good run in 11th, Eric Latino 12th, Derek Kramer really far back there in the 13th position with a 6.690, Fernando Quadra in 14th, Dave Connolly 15th, Troy Coughlin Jr. 16th, and then Erica Enders, who did not get off the line too well, barely made it past the tree. She ran a 30.2. She right now is the one driver going home. In funny car, Bob Tasca. Now this is where the records really started to set in. Bob Tasca, the last pair out with Matt Hagan, runs down a 3.840, but where all the eyes were lit up was the 339.87. You would have probably expected me. I said Robert Hight ran a 338. I was wrong. That was a 339. Bob Tasca matches the national record that was set back in 2018, back in the laid-back header era. Now, there was a lot of red flags set off because of the same exact scare that was set back on Tuesday and Wednesday with this timing link system, so a lot of people were skeptical about what was going to happen, but ended up being confirmed by CompuLink that the timing was exactly correct and that it was a 3:39 run. Now, a lot of people are going to say that that ties the record. However, the thing you need to remember, this is not an NHRA sanctioned event. This is not an NHRA national event. Therefore, they are not going to likely count this time towards the national record. So depending on who you ask, Robert Height still holds on to that top time. And officially speaking, yes, he does. They do tie it, but if you ask the Tasca crew, Tasca beats him on a whole shot. I believe he had a 0.89 reaction time. Robert and that run had a 0.121. So again, it all depends on who you ask, but as it stands right now, there is an official tie for the national speed record in funny car. Taking second, John Forrest was a surprising run in second at 3.849. Austin Prock turning a lot of heads at 3.851 in his debut in a funny car. Alex DeJoria, J.R. Todd takes home 6th, Chad Green in 7th, and Daniel Wilkerson in his return to funny car, driving his dad's Skag Power Equipment Ford Mustang. He rounds out the current qualifiers. First out, Matt Hagan, a 4.114. Ron Capps, a 4.396. That's two of the big three that are not in the show. Blake Alexander, currently in 11th, and Dave Richards takes 12th with a 12.745. He did not set too good of a run. And the thing to also note with Paul Lee too, that I just realized now looking at it, was he had a bit of a scare. Now, there was a lot of questions on how this event was going to go. I personally have a bit of a looming feeling that something might happen, but with how these speeds are going, I think it's going to be more excitement than anything. But Paul Lee was the first one to start to scare people due to the fact that his parachute's released late. He ended up going into the shutdown area, past the track, and into what you, I guess, call the sand trap. Not really much of a sand trap. It's right at the end of the property. But regardless, crashes towards the end of it. Cars believe is fine. He climbed out of it and is okay. Will more than likely be back tomorrow. It doesn't look like anything too bad happened. But regardless, he still holds on to the 4th position going into day 2. As for Top Fuel, the kings of the sport, Clay Milliken with that Cletus McFarland Top Fuel dragster, a 3.688 at 336 miles an hour. He takes a top spot, matches Mike Salinas' ET, but with that 336 to Mike's 328, he takes top honors. Tony Schumacher, a really good return for the Sarge. He finds himself 3rd. The Skag Mowers dragster, Justin Ashley, takes home 4th. Leah Pruitt in her final full event. She will be running the Pep Boys All-Star Call-Out in Gainesville, but this is her final full event before Tony takes over to C. She currently holds on to 5th, Steve Torrance in 6th, Brittany Force 7th, and Tron Brown in 8th. And then the home state kid, Josh Hart, first car out in 9th, Sean Langdon 10th, the reigning champion, Doug Coletta in 11th, then Billy Torrance, who had a stuck throttle, finds himself in the 12th and final spot. We have 3 more rounds of qualifying to go through tomorrow. If there is any highlight videos, you'll see them right here. If not, then thank you guys so much for watching. And again, subscribe to the channel, MightyMac03 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. I'm everywhere. We're going to be trying to cover every single day of this historic event as we get the lead in to the historic Gainesville Gator Nationals coming up in a week for the NHRA, or I guess in a month for the NHRA. Exciting times taking place here in drag racing. We can't wait to take you guys on a ride for every single step of the adventure. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Mighty Mac on YouTube. We will see you in the next video. Sorry, David.